All right, good morning, Ranch Church. How are we doing this morning? So good. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Merry Christmas. I have a quick question for you. How many of you already have your Christmas tree up? Anybody? Show of hands. Who had it up before Thanksgiving? Anybody? A few of you? Oh, no, we're not going to boo them. Come on, Katie. Hey, no one's perfect. It's okay. Last question for you on trees. Who is a fake tree person? We're my fake tree people. What about the real tree? I am a fake tree person married to a real tree person. You can guess which tree we have in our house. Definitely the real one. That's how it goes. But hey, Christmas is here. No matter whether you started celebrating on November 1st or you started on Friday, it doesn't matter. We are here. It is Christmas. 25 days to go. It's the most magical time of year. And as we are decorating our homes and having holiday parties and going out shopping and enjoying all the lights and the festivity of the season, it's very easy for all of us, including myself, to get caught up in the business of the season and in that business to maybe not even reflect or ask ourselves this question. Where am I finding hope this Christmas? Where am I finding hope this Christmas? And how you and I answer that question means everything for this season. Where I find my hope means everything for this season. If our great hope is finding just that perfect, magical gift for our loved ones, it might mean that our hope is in making others happy. If our great hope is in just making every moment count and finding the most magical ways to experience the season, magical ways to recapture the past and the nostalgia of it, then that is kind of where our hope is in finding and creating those moments. Now look, the point of this morning is not to tell you don't buy gifts or experience the Christmas magic. Experience all the Christmas magic in the world. Buy great gifts for your family. Enjoy it. But if that is where our hope is, if that's where we're putting all of our hope into, we're going to miss out on what Christmas can truly be for us. Because true hope is not found in how festive things can be. It's not found in how magical Disneyland looks. It's not found in any of that. As great as all that is, true hope is found 2,000 years ago in a back room, a mother and a father, a newborn son, surrounded by a few lowly shepherds, embracing their new son who is being born into a broken and desolate world of darkness to bring light that is so needed to this world. Who's heralding in the opportunity to hope again, who's heralding the opportunity to live in a world not full of darkness, but one full of light. The world around you is promising hope around every corner. You feel this, you see this everywhere you go. That you can have hope if your house is festive enough, if you buy that one gift. If you just try hard enough, you too can find the Christmas magic. But what if, amid all the wonderful tradition and Christmas cheer, we embrace the true promise of hope? What if this Christmas, it was more than just a couple weeks of celebrating, but it sparked in us hope that lasts beyond Christmas Day and the holidays and goes into January and February? A hope that is about real change, a hope that's about Jesus. Pray with me this morning as we dive in. Oh, Jesus, thank you for you. God, as Advent begins today, December 1st, as we spend 25 days reflecting on your arrival, Lord, would we be people who find hope in you? Would all the things we do be centered in you, Jesus? May you be our hope this season. In your son's name, amen. Well, over the next couple weeks leading up to Christmas Eve, we're going to be in a series called Hope is Here. We'll be talking about hope in lots of different ways. But we begin talking about hope today, not with Mary and Joseph surrounding Jesus, and not with the shepherds on the hill experiencing this light of the angels. No, but we're going to start today hundreds of years prior in the book of Isaiah. Now, the prophet Isaiah lived in a very tumultuous period of Israel's history. There's many of those periods of time. He happened to live in one of them, to be a prophet, to be a mouthpiece of God during a difficult time. And at this time, Israel is struggling, as they often do, with idolatry and forsaking God's covenant. If you've read the Old Testament, you know that Israel kind of has this cycle where they embrace God and His law and they live under Him, and then they get a little bit complacent. And they go, we'd rather just do things our own way, God. And they turn to idolatry and forsake the covenant. And then God says, okay, if that's what you want, I'm going to give you what you want. And exile happens, persecution happens, and then there's these periods of time. And then they turn back to God, and the cycle kind of starts over again. It's not too different from maybe sometimes the cycles in our own life. But at this time, the nation of Assyria is rising. There is a looming threat of invasion and possible exile, and Israel is in panic. And they're in panic because they don't have the foundation of the Lord to fall back on. They see this enemy rising, and instead of saying, we are the nation of Israel, we are God's people, we are going to stand firm in Him, they panic. It's a dark time of uncertainty where hope is in very short supply. And in Isaiah chapter 8, this is kind of how Isaiah describes what's going on. Isaiah 8, verses 21 to 22. They will go from one place to another, weary and hungry. And because they are hungry, they will rage and curse their king and their God. They will look up to heaven and down at the earth. But wherever they look, there will be trouble and anguish and dark despair. They will be thrown into darkness. So what is going on here with Israel? They are in this panic. They are looking up to the sky, down to the earth. They are looking anywhere they can to find answers. Earlier in chapter 8, it says that they are consulting mystics, mediums, and scholars. And then the solutions to their peril aren't too different than how we sometimes want to go after our problems. While they are pursuing mediums and mystics, it's no different than our pursuit of technology, politics, or finances, where we look to these things and say, this is going to, okay, my life's in panic now. Things are really bad, but this is the thing that's going to help. This is how I fix it. And really, for us and them, we all are sharing the identical assumption that when things are bleak, when things look bad, we can end the darkness with our intellect, our innovation, and control. We live thousands of years apart, yet we're very much the same. Things are bad. How can I fix it? What are the ways that I can tangibly control this? How can I be the person to fix this? Right now, more than any time of year, you know this, you feel it. Our world is looking for hope. You know this. Our world is in desperate need of hope. You see this, you feel it in every advertisement on TV, every post on social media. Everything is selling you the promise of hope. That this product, this place will bring fulfillment. This will bring you hope. All you got to do is buy it. Just give us some money. And you can have some hope too, right? It's all around us. This Christmas season, do this. And you can have hope. Some years ago, there was an ad in the New York Times that read like this. The meaning of Christmas is that love will triumph, and that we will be able to put together a world of unity and peace. I'll read that one more time. The meaning of Christmas is that love will triumph, and that we will be able to put together a world of unity and peace. Now that sounds like a really nice sentiment, right? It sounds great. Like, oh, Christmas is about love triumphing. It's about us rallying together in unity, and we're gonna put back the world together in unity and peace. That sounds great, right? The idea that humans, it's something that I think as humans we've promoted forever, right? Like, if we just join together, if we rally together, we can do this. We can do this. And this sentiment has always been because there's always been darkness around us. We all know that there are felt needs around us that need to be fixed. So how do we fix them? We unite together, and this is how we do that. And the sentiment of this ad and other sentiments like it is that there is a light within you, and you can do this. We are the ones who can dispel darkness. We collectively together can overcome injustice and violence and evil. We can do this. If we just work really hard, if we just put all of our effort into it, we can fix this. Fortunately, this just isn't true. We can't dispel darkness. No amount of hard work or harmony can undo the curse of sin. You aren't enough. I'm not enough. We can't do enough to overcome darkness. Scripture is very clear on this. There's darkness, there's brokenness, there is sin. You are not the solution. Now, you might ask yourself, Josiah, this is kind of a bummer so far, man. Like, this is Christmas. I thought it'd be coming today, and it'd be like, hey, like, hark the herald, angels sing, and it's just going to be like, great. Why are you talking about darkness so much, man? Like, what is this, Good Friday? Like, go on, what are you doing? Here's the deal. Why am I talking about darkness? Because Christmas is about darkness. Christmas is God's answer to darkness. Jesus, God, our God saw this world and said, hey, there's a problem. They cannot solve it. Here is the answer. Christmas is the answer to darkness. You see, we can't truly appreciate Christmas without first acknowledging the despair and brokenness and darkness of this world. To look past the darkness would be to dismiss why Jesus came in the first place. And he came because there is a deep need for light. And it's an only one that he can meet. Amid the time of darkness of Isaiah's time that people grappled with, Isaiah offered this prophecy of hope of darkness being dispelled. Nevertheless, that time of darkness and despair will not go on forever. The people who walk in darkness will see a great light. For those who live in a land of deep darkness, a light will shine. For a child is born to us, a son is given to us, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Isaiah proclaimed to the people of his time and to us this message of hope. Darkness will not last. A great light will shine. But notice what Isaiah doesn't say. He doesn't say, Israel, you're going to work really hard together, and you're going to produce this light that's going to be just amazing. Israel, rally together. You can do this. No. He says the darkness is going to end because a child is given, a son given. It's not a light produced by good works or unity. It's not a light produced by something earned. It's a light that's brought by a baby boy. God incarnate, God in flesh, who will overcome darkness to bring the true promise of hope. And this hope includes that he is a God of faithfulness, that there's hope in his faithfulness. For you and I living in kind of this post-Messiah or post-Jesus world, I think sometimes the words of the Old Testament, the prophecies of the Old Testament can maybe pack a little less punch than they could for maybe the people of that day. Because we read this prophecy in Isaiah and we know it's talking about Jesus and we've experienced Jesus. But for the people of Israel, they hear this promise and it is the only thing that they care about. It is where all of their hope was, is on this Messiah who is going to bring redemption. This Messiah was their shot at things being made right, their great enemy vanquished. And they were right, they just weren't right in the way that they figured. They looked for a Messiah who would end physical and temporary oppression, but we have a Messiah who ends spiritual, eternal oppression. Not a mighty king who's born into a palace, but a boy from Nazareth born in a stable in relative obscurity in Israel. Not one who's going to ride in on a horse as a conqueror, but who's going to one day go into Jerusalem on a donkey. This isn't the Messiah they're expecting, but it's the one that they get, and it's the best possible one. God is faithful in his promises to send a Messiah. He has sent that Messiah, who is both God and who is man. In Isaiah 9:6, he starts off with, "For us a child is born, a son is given." And these words spark hope, not just for Israel, but for all of us, that we have a God who loves us so much that he would send his own son for us. We have a God who would care so much about your rescue that he would send his own son, that he would be that faithful to us. And Isaiah chooses his words carefully here when he speaks about the Messiah. He says, "A child is born." And these words, "a child is born," speaks to Christ's humanity. That this is a God, this is a Messiah who feels what you feel. This is not a God who is detached from humanity, but rather one who would fully come to this earth and understand everything you and I go through by experiencing the full human condition. That's why the author of Hebrews speaks of Jesus in this way in Hebrews 4:14-15 when he says this. "So then, since we have a great high priest who has entered heaven, Jesus the Son of God, let us hold firmly to what we believe. This high priest of ours understands our weaknesses, for he faced all the same testings as we do, yet he did not sin." Do you get this? Do you see this? The God of the universe understands your weaknesses. He empathizes. We'll just say understands. He understands you. You know what I'm trying to say. He gets you. He beckons you to come before his throne, not simply to judge you, but to say, "I understand what you were going through." This is not a God who's on this distant cloud, apathetic, and "I created you. Figure it out. Come talk to me when you get to heaven, but just figure it out." No, this is the God who's in the dirt with us, who says, "I care so much about you. I'm going to come and be one of you. I'm good. I'm going to hunger. I'm going to fear. I'm going to be just like you." Over my many years of youth ministry, something I've heard over time and time again is when I'm talking with kids, especially when they're in times of crisis or things are going hard, they'll say a line to me and they say, "Well, you just don't understand what it's like to be a teenager right now." If you have a teenager, maybe you've heard that. And it's true, like there's parts of being a teenager now I don't fully understand. But I understand grappling with identity and friendships, and I understand the core universal themes that all teenagers have gone through. And at times I feel like I say the same thing to God. "God, you just don't understand what I'm going through, God. You just don't get it. You don't understand. You don't get it. You don't get it, God." And God's sitting there going, but I do get it. I do get it. And maybe you're there right now in this season. You're wrestling with God, and you're saying, "God, you just don't understand. You just don't get it." And we have a God who says, "No, I get it." Understand this. Jesus understands you and me far more than we ever could imagine. He came to this earth so he might faithfully understand every aspect of us. But Jesus wasn't merely human. He was also fully divine to offer us something no one else can. Isaiah continues in verse 6 by saying, "A son is given to us." And this son given to us means he's not just a man, but he is also fully divine. Paul, in his letter to the Colossians, says this of the divinity of Christ. Christ is the visible image of the invisible God. He existed before anything and is supreme over all creation. He existed before anything else and holds all creation together. Christ is also the head of the church, which is his body. He is the beginning, supreme over all who rise from the dead. God in the flesh, who has always existed and holds all creation together. This is who Jesus is. Thoroughly God and the only one capable of making peace, of defeating sin. This is the Son given to us. I love this word, given. This is a gift. This is not a son earned. This is nothing like that. This is a son given. In the same way that you will give gifts to your kids, you don't give them because they earned it. They might not have. You give it to them because it's just you simply love them. It's the outpour of the love that you have for them. It's like, How can I not give you gifts on Christmas? I love you. God says the same thing as, how can I not? I love you. Here's this gift I have for you. It's my son. It's the best gift you could possibly have. Jesus, fully man, fully God, comes and proves his faithfulness to his word and to his people. We find the promise of hope in his faithfulness to enter a world of brokenness. A broken world he willfully endured, a broken world he continues to give light to. And Christmas is a reminder of the unchanging love for us, the reminder to trust him and who he is. And this Christmas we have hope not just in his faithfulness, but we have hope in who he is. We have hope in his identity. Perhaps the most well-known portion of, if you read Isaiah 9, is this proclamation of who Jesus is. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Last week, Cole did an amazing job teaching on Thanksgiving and why this posture of being thankful and this posture of being grateful people matters. Because when we're thankful, it transforms our hearts. It changes everything about us. And maybe around your Thanksgiving table on Thursday, perhaps you and your family, like many others, you went around and said what you were thankful for, right? You said, I'm thankful for our family. We're thankful for where we live. You got on the list, right? And it's so important for us to do that. And not just on Thanksgiving. We should probably be doing it far more often. But just to audibly say out loud, I am thankful for this. And that's such an important practice for us to do. To say, I am thankful for this. But it's also as important to simply say, God, I thank you for you. Not just for the gifts you've given me, but I am thankful for you. In Psalm 7, David proclaims his God in this manner. I will thank the Lord because he is just. I will sing praise to the name of the Lord Most High. Another translation says, I will give thanks to the Lord due to his righteousness. I give thanks to God because he is just. I give thanks to God due to his righteousness. I give thanks to God simply because of who he is. And this is where thankfulness begins. This is where hope begins. Not just in the good things God gives us, but in who he is. And a hope centered around who Jesus is a hope that can remain steadfast because it's about his character. It's not simply about gifts. It's independent of blessing. It's simply who God is. There's that beautiful song, Blessed Be the Name of the Lord, right? Blessed be the name when the sun's shining down on me. Blessed be the name when on the road marked with suffering. Blessed be your name. We can only say that if the blessing is in who God is and not simply in the blessings. This is how we have the same consistent hope whether everything is going well or whether things feel like, man, things are kind of falling apart right now. That's why the Christian, the Jesus follower is able to say, man, the world would say my life is terrible right now. And there are some things that are really hard. But I have hope in Jesus because of who he is, not because of me. And conversely, yes, there's a lot of amazing things happening right now, but it's not about me. This is how we keep pride from entering in, because it's not about me, it's about who he is. And Isaiah gives us a taste of who God is when he declares that God is Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. And when our identity is in his name, when our hope is in his name, it's a hope that carries us. And this is who Jesus is. He is a wonderful counselor. If any of you have ever gone to counseling or considered counseling, a thing that I think most people would look for in a counselor is someone who is going to listen to you well. Someone who's going to help offer you support, give you guidance, give you the tools to navigate the challenges of life. I think that's universally, we would probably all agree, hey, it's a good counselor. And Isaiah describes him as a wonderful counselor. This is not just a God who listens to you, who offers you some good support. This is a God who does so much more. He counsels us through his word. He instructs us the right way to go. He corrects us when wrong. He equips and he prepares us to live out the great commandment, to love God, to love people, and to go into the world proclaiming it. Jesus is the wonderful counselor because, as we stated earlier, he's intimately aware of who you are. The late pastor Tim Keller put it this way. I love what he says here. He says, our God is one who truly understands you from the inside of your experience. There's no other religion that says God suffered, that God had to be courageous, that he knows what it's like to be abandoned, to be crushed by injustice, to be tortured, and to die. Christmas shows he knows what you're going through. When you talk to him, he understands. God is a wonderful counselor. Jesus is a wonderful counselor because he's been there. He's there with you right now in the Holy Spirit. He is with you now. I can't stress this enough. We do not have a distant God, but rather a personal one. This is so vital for hope, that he is personal. He is here. He's not just a counselor who says, hey, go do this and come back to me. He is a counselor who says, I'm going to walk with you in every aspect of life. This is not a weekly meeting where, hey, come and fill me in what's going on. No, this is a counselor who says, I am going with you. And not just I'm going to go with you, I'm going to fight your battles for you. He's not just a wonderful counselor, he's a mighty God. And as our mighty God, he has dominion over everything. And this includes the greatest threats you or I will ever face, of sin, of Satan, of death. His power, his might means he is utterly dependable. His might means that there is no situation that can overwhelm him. And that includes any situation that you're in right now. Let me say this again. There is nothing that you can go through, are going through, will go through, that can overwhelm God. Nothing. There's nothing that you can go through that can shock him. There's nothing that you can go through that will make him go, oh my, oh, Josiah, I don't know about this, man. No, you can't shock him. You can't surprise him. You can't startle him. This is a mighty God who doesn't just use his might for ways that we might think. This is a mighty God who says, I'm going to use my might, I'm going to use my strength to fight for you. I'm going to use my might to overcome your weaknesses. I'm going to use my might to overcome your sin, to take your sin on my back, take it off you, and put it on myself. That's what it means that he is a mighty God. I love that. This is a mighty God who unburdens us and burdens himself. That's the kind of mighty God we have. He's a wonderful counselor, a mighty God, and an everlasting Father. And I understand that for some of us, this word Father can carry baggage. It can carry baggage. It can evoke a sense of loss over wonderful fathers that we've lost, and it can invoke a sense of loss over the longings of maybe a dad that we never really got to have. But no matter where you are at on the spectrum of viewing this word Father and experiencing this word Father, the name Everlasting Father means that Jesus is a Father who cares for you, who provides for you, a Father who under him you are safe and will be satisfied for all eternity. Coming into a broken and sinful world, he says, I am going to be your Father. You will be my son. You will be my daughter. You will be the heir to my inheritance. Let me say that again. You are now my son. You are now my daughter. You are my heir. That's what it means for him to be our everlasting Father. That we are his. One pastor put it this way: everything you've ever dreamed a father could be, everything you've ever wanted from your relationship with your earthly father, Jesus is and will be. Your Messiah will forever be perfectly father-like in the way he shepherds and leads you. In Jesus, you have your perfect Father forever. I love that. Some of us have had lousy dads. Some of us have had pretty good dads. None of them perfect. Yet Jesus, for each of us, is this everlasting Father He says, I'm going to love you. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to be that father for you. You will be my son. You will be my daughter. You get the heir. You are my heir to my inheritance. You get heaven. And not just heaven, you get relationship with me here and now as my son, as my daughter. Not because of a single thing you've done, not because you've earned it, but simply because you're his. Jesus is a wonderful counselor, mighty God, everlasting Father, and he is a Prince of Peace. And this word peace can invoke for, in many of us, tranquil springs and gentle breezes and calm seas. But Jesus is not the Prince of calm seas and gentle breezes. He is the Prince of Peace because amid the death and destruction that comes from sin, he brings reconciliation and intercedes on our behalf. He makes things right. In Hebrew, there's this word for peace, and it's shalom. And shalom is not simply the lack of conflict or the lack of noise, but shalom means that things are being set right. Shalom means right relationship with God. And that's who Jesus is. That's how he is the Prince of Peace. That he comes in to the void and makes things right between God and us. He brings peace. He brings reconciliation. He is the Prince of Peace who holds it together, who gives us access to God, who says, your sin is this chasm, it's this void. I'm going to be that bridge. I am the Prince of Peace who's going to make things right. This Christmas, there's a lot of different places we can put our hope. There's a lot of different promises that we can listen to. But my hope for each of us is that we would put our hope in his faithfulness and his identity. That we would gladly and wholeheartedly seek out this gift for ourselves and others before everything else. And the gift is this: a child born to us, a son given. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. And may the gift of Jesus be your hope this Christmas. May he bring light into any darkness in your life and that you're experiencing. May he be your hope above all other hopes. Let's worship him now.